Nicole was watching a show today in which one of the characters expressed extreme displeasure with the quality of work that the company that he worked for was producing, and decided in a very vocal way that he was going to leave their employment. And he was frustrated with the customer for settling for what they did, and he was frustrated with himself for taking a paycheck to do something that he didn't believe in, or to do something at a level of quality that wasn't up to his standards. And that was kind of a cool moment. I think that we've all sort of like had that flash in the back of our mind about a job or a relationship or some situation we're in that we would love to just stand up and say, this is not good enough, and storm out, right? But shortly after he does this, he's having this quiet moment with a close friend, and the fear shows up, and the fear is saying, what if working for that company, producing at that level, is the best that I'm capable of? And that's something that shows up for me over and over and over again. The fear that the standard that I have, the kind of work I want to produce, what if it is beyond my capability to produce it? That's scary. That's like an ugly thing to wrestle with, because I want to offer two things to maybe help you out if you are facing that, if you're struggling with that, or the next time that shows up. Two things that I hope might be a little bit helpful. The first is, I think I would rather know what the limit of my capability is. I would rather know where that edge is and where I am going to top out than to regret never finding out. I think I would rather know what that is and have to deal with the ramifications of it maybe not being as high as I want it to be, than to spend my career, my life playing on a field that is safe and never knowing if I could have played on a bigger field. I think the regret is worse. And two, there is this fascinating thing that happens when people start practicing at a higher level. When American Idol first kind of started showing up, what I learned from watching that was something that I call the idol effect, and there's probably a better name for it, but the people who were selected to move forward, the people who were being given an opportunity to work on being a singer every single day, to be around coaches and people who were experts, and to be challenged by them and to work on it every single day, they got better. They didn't show up with all the talent they would need, and now the show was designed to figure out which of the talents was the best. They were actually developing the talent while they were on the show. They were improving the instrument and the tool that they had as they went through the show. And what I think is interesting about that is we all have this sort of potential inside us. We have this ability to do something, unique value we have to offer, right? And that is refined at a certain level right now. It's maybe a 3 or a 4 or an 8, whatever. But that will always exist at that level until you start working that muscle, until you start working on it more consistently. Then that 3 becomes a 5, or that 5 becomes an 8, or that 8 becomes, whatever. You will never know what you're capable of until you start exercising that over and over and over and over again. And what you will find is that the capability you have right now is not necessarily the extent of the capability you could have. And so it's easy for me to get caught up in the fear and to say, I'm doing pretty good right now. If I just stay here in this window, people are kind of digging what I'm doing. I get some good feedback. I haven't fallen on my face in a gigantic way. And maybe if I try for something just a little beyond my reach, it brings the whole house of cards tumbling down. Or maybe I reach for something that I could have had all along if I had just tried.